Describe the end behavior for f of x equals negative 3x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6/8 minus 8. Okay, so this is what we call a fourth degree polynomial, right? That's the leading term here. Okay, so the end behavior refers to, what is happening as x gets really large. Okay, so we can write it this way. As x approaches infinity, okay, what is f of x doing? Remember, f of x just refers to the y values, right? And similarly, as x approaches negative infinity, what is f of x doing? Now, there's only two things that f of x could be doing, right? Either f of x is approaching positive infinity, or f of x approaches negative infinity, okay? There's really four things that a graph could be doing, okay? Four things that a graph could be doing. If we're going up like this, right? This means as x approaches negative infinity, f of x is approaching positive infinity, right? So as x is getting smaller and smaller, right? Then as we're going to the left, right? As we're going to the left, the y values are getting larger, okay? So this is up and to the left. We can also be going down to the left. We can go up and to the right or down and to the right. Remember, this is just the end of the graph. We don't really know what's happening in between, right? I'm going to do this part later, okay? But what we're just looking at now is, okay, what is happening at the ends? Okay. So how do we determine that? And we determine the end behavior by two things, the leading term and the degree. So in this case, the leading term refers to the coefficient of the highest exponent, right? The leading term in this case is negative. Okay, so that's what we want to determine. Is the leading term positive or negative? And what is the degree of this polynomial, right? This degree of this polynomial is the highest exponent, which in this case is 4, it's even. Okay? So we want to know, is the leading term positive or negative? And is the degree even or odd? So how does that, how does that make a difference? Okay? Well, if the degree is even, we're going to have a nice little U shape. Okay? Now, once again, in the mid, it's not going to be a nice, perfect U, right? Okay? So like I said, we don't know what happens in the middle, but it's going to be a U shape. Okay? But because it's negative, okay, we know that our graph should be doing something like this. Okay? So this is called, we call this down and to the left. Okay? So down and to the left. And this one here is down to the right. Right, now more technically, we can say that as x approaches negative infinity, right? That means we're going to the left, right? Because these are the x values, right? As x is getting smaller and smaller, as x approaches negative infinity, what is happening to f of x? The y values are also getting smaller, right? So this would be the more technical way to write it. As x is getting smaller, y is getting smaller, which means down and to the left. If we're going down and to the right, remember, to the right means as x approaches infinity, right? So as we're going to the right, what is happening to the y values? Right? The y values are getting smaller. So f of x is approaching negative infinity. Okay? So you do need to know the more mathematical way, right? But hopefully just visualizing it and understanding what down and up and left and right means, okay, you can make those connections with the end behavior.